The music news for the streets, the music news for your beats, the news for the music stuff that you gonna need. We gon' talk about plugins, we gon' talk about gear. If it's news on this music, we gon' talk about it here. Let's go.
What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy, Some. Hit the keys. Here today to talk about beat block and how you can overcome it. In today's video, I've got 14 different tips for you guys about how you can beat beat block. I actually made a video about this a long time ago, maybe 3 years ago. I only had like 1,000 subscribers at the time, so I figured I might as well touch it up and add some more tips to it. Here's a little secret though. It's not really a secret, but beat block's not really a real thing. It is just an excuse to not finish making some music, and I will fully explain that in this video. And hopefully I can help you guys see what I'm saying. The first thing that you can do though to beat beat block would be to use different plugins. So if you are typically in the mindset of always pulling Omnisphere open or always pulling Serum open or always pulling Pigments open, or you always use the same plugins, I would recommend grabbing a new plugin and trying something new. So maybe if you always use a piano, maybe you start off a beat with a pad, or maybe you go with an electric piano, or maybe you go with something like that. Because what's gonna happen is different sounds and different noises is gonna make your brain react different, and it's going to make you put together different melodies. It's gonna make you put together different chords. It's gonna do all kinds of different things for you, and it's gonna just help your creative juices start flowing, pause. And it's going to just help you guys make new beats, make different kind of beats, help your creativity. And then another thing with the plugins is using different effects on your plugins. So like maybe grabbing effects that are gonna chop up your stuff or reverse your sounds or all kinds of stuff like that. I feel like that can definitely help you guys out dramatically. The second tip that I have for you guys today is grabbing a plugin like Scalar or something like Chord Jam or something like that that has a whole bunch of different kinds of chords that you can use. Especially if you aren't the greatest keyboard player, because using different chords is obviously going to give you different sounds. It's going to give you different emotions. It's going to give you different moods in your beat. And it's going to allow for you to construct your melodies different on top of those chord progressions, or it might force you to make a different kind of beat than you would normally make. So like, let's say everything that you make is typically major scales or A major. But if you go and find some different kind of scales, like some pentatonic or something like that, it just could force you to make different kind of beats. And then when you're making different kind of beats, it's going to, again, it's going to get your creative juices flowing. Pause again, and it's going to just help you make beats. It's going to keep you going. It's going to keep you moving. It's going to keep you rolling. The third tip that I have for you guys today is to always hum out your melodies. If you have a melody in your head, hum it out and record it into your phone. It's nothing nowadays. We all always have our phones with us. So if you have some kind of melody in your mind, all you got to do is hum it, record it into your phone, and then later on, when you get to the house, you can try to play out that melody that you've already put together. For me, I don't typically right away use any melody that I've hummed. I have probably 100 different melodies in my phone that I've hummed. But like sometimes, like let's say, I don't want to say I've got beat block, but like let's say I can't think of anything creative right away. I always go back to my phone and I always pull up one of those melodies. And then I try to play it out on the keyboard, or I try to pencil those notes in. And then boom, bam, I have a beat going right there. And it's just a very easy way to get started, a very easy way for you to create, because you've already have the melody. You already have what direction you want to go with that beat in mind. And all you got to do is, get it going. The fourth tip that I have for you guys today is if you are working on a beat and you don't like the melody that you're working on, or you don't like the chord progression, or you don't like the direction in which you're going with the beat that you're already working on, why don't you go ahead and bounce it out? So export it, make it a sample, and now you can chop up that sample and you can make the beat completely different. So now you can just take parts of that melody or that chord progression or whatever it is that you're working on, and then you can chop it up and just use the parts that you want. You can reverse stuff. You can transpose it. You can do all kinds of different stuff with that sample to make that sample yours. You'd be surprised what you can get out of a sample. Listen to all the music that's been sampled. Listen to anything by Kanye or anybody like that. and you'll see that they can take a beat or they can take a sample that's just okay and make it into a fire beat. You can do the same. So you know what I'm saying? That's definitely another idea that I recommend is just taking that sample and flipping it and making it something creative. The fifth tip I have for you guys today is once you start a beat, don't stop until you finish. I can't stress that's very important because it's going to build up a normal routine. And that routine is how you're going to build your beats. So every time that I start a beat, I never stop until I'm finished. I may not always mix the beat all the way down. If you guys follow the channel, you guys already know that. But I do always get my chords together. I always get all my melodies, my main melody, all my counter melodies. I always get my drums in there. I always get my 808 in there. And I always do arrange the beat as well. With that, what I do is I have a method to how I work. So you can do this, you don't have to, but whenever I create a beat, a lot of you guys know that I vape. So what I do is I always get my chords, I always get my melodies together, and then I'll take like a little 5-minute break in between that. I'll step outside and I'll vape, and then I'll come back inside and I'll always put my drums together because that typically works well for me, you know? Going outside and vape allows me to think about how I really want my drums to go because the melody is just playing over and over and over in my head, even though I don't have my computer outside with me. And then it allows me to come inside and approach the beat and with a fresh set of ears. And it also allows for me to just think about what I'm going to do before I finish this beat instead of finishing it all just really quickly and then calling it a beat. It actually allows for me to put my best effort into that beat. The sixth tip that I have for you guys today is before you start working on a beat, eliminate any distraction that you may have. I understand some of us have families, we have kids and stuff like that, so we can't eliminate that. But things that we can eliminate are you can turn off the TV in whatever room you're in. You can turn your phone on silent or vibrate, unless you know you work in a field where your phone has to be on. You know you're on call or something like that. Turn the phone off. Turn the internet off. Do not get on whatever social media while you have your computer open and you're working on a beat. Make sure you're putting all the video games away. Make sure you've eaten before you start. Just get rid of any distraction that you may have so that's not an excuse that you can use to not finish the beat. Another thing that I suggest is starting to work with your headphones on because that's going to help you to get rid of any distractions because you're not going to hear any outside noise. So if you have those headphones on, music turned up, you're going to be focused right into the computer ready to go. And then as you get going, obviously you can take them off. And then if you have monitors and so on and so forth, you can finish the beat with those monitors. You can mix in your monitors and all that. But I can't stress enough, I always start with my headphones on and I always get rid of every distraction possible. That way I can, get my beats going. The seventh tip that I have for you guys today is to make sure that you schedule time in order to make music. That is very important. You want to get into a routine of if it's every single day at 7 o'clock at night, that's when you're making beats, or 9 o'clock at night, or 7 o'clock in the morning when you wake up, depending on your schedule. That's huge because if you know every single day I have to make a beat at 7 o'clock, it just becomes second nature. It becomes easy. Your mind is ready to go. Your mind's going to be ready to make a beat at that same time every day. And that way you don't give yourself any excuses not to make beats because you have the time cleared off to make beats and to make music and to complete all that stuff before you finish your night out or before you finish doing anything else. You've got your music done and then you can go play. Then you can go out to the bar or then you can play video games or then you can watch the game or then you can do whatever it is that you want to do. But before you do all that stuff, I can't stress enough, I would recommend scheduling time to make that music. The eighth tip that I have for you guys today is to never let your mood affect your productivity. A lot of times we can get into a bad mood and we can decide that we don't want to do something. So you can be angry and you might not want to make a beat, or you can be sad and you might not want to make a beat, or you may be happy and you want to go out and party or something like that. But instead of not making the music, you should put all that emotion into your music. That's the way you can get those sad emotional songs if you're not in a good mood, or you can get those aggressive beats if you're upset, or you can make a happy beat or a happy song, if you're in a good mood. So use your emotions as a tool in order to get the kind of music out of you that you want, you know? The ninth tip that I have for you guys today is one of the most important tips, and that is to always remember to have fun when you're making music. If you realized how many people in this world wish they could make music, or wish that they had an ear for music, or wish that they had equipment to make music, or just wish that they had time to make music. A lot of people just wish that they could do it, but they just can't, or they just don't, or they don't know how to, or they don't know how to get their foot in the door. So if you're out here making music, remember why you started doing this. You started doing this because it was fun. It was something that you felt in your soul. It was something that put you into a good mood. It was something that made you smile. You know what I'm saying? It was something that made you dance, something that made you, just move inside. So just always remember why you started music, and it's for the fun. And just always make sure to have fun. Even if this is a business for you, if this is a job for you, fun is the most important part. For me, this is what I do. Everything I do is music. You know what I'm saying? Is music related. So this is how I make my living. It's just different ways within this music, not just YouTube. But every time I start messing with music, I know I'm gonna have fun. If it's sound design, I'm still gonna have fun. If it's engineering somebody's music, I'm still gonna have fun. If it's beta testing some products, I'm still gonna have fun. If it's consulting people, I'm still gonna have fun. If it's making a YouTube video, I'm still gonna have fun. So you guys get where I'm going with that. You just want to make sure that you're always having fun, and then you will enjoy the process always. The 10th tip that I have for you guys today is to have confidence in yourself, because one beat doesn't define you. So a lot of times, you might make a whack beat or a beat that you don't like, but it's all good. Finish that beat, because every single beat that you make isn't going to be a Billboard platinum worthy beat. It's not going to be a great beat. Sometimes we make great beats, sometimes we make bad beats. But another thing to realize is that you don't even know which beat is a good beat or a bad beat. I make beats every day. Obviously, you guys know I do videos all the time. I do live streams. At one point, I was putting out like 5 videos a week. I was streaming like 4 times a week, and all I was doing was making beats nonstop. And the same with now, I make beats nonstop. Well, I can't necessarily decide which beat I make is the hardest. I have my favorites, but a lot of times on this channel, I'll make a beat for a demonstration. I might not necessarily like the beat, but everybody in the comment section loves the beat. The same thing applies to your work. You don't necessarily know what other people are gonna like. All you know is what you like. So you should always strive to finish a beat and have confidence in yourself, because hey, even if nobody likes that beat, even if you don't like that beat, that one beat doesn't define you. You can make another beat tomorrow. You can make another beat the day after that. You can make another beat after that. And so with this, earlier in the video, I said beat block doesn't exist. It doesn't, because think about how many producers make music every day. Like I'm a producer that makes music every day. Not saying I'm the greatest producer in the world, not saying I'm the worst producer in the world, but every single day I make music, and I don't get up from my session until I'm finished. So I know sometimes it may seem like, oh, well, this beat sounds like the beat I made yesterday, or oh, this beat sounds like the beat that I made last week. Well, nobody's going to think the beat sounds the same except you. Unless you use the exact same melody and the exact same piano, the beat's not going to sound exactly the same. It's going to sound different to somebody else who's listening to it. So think about how many producers make beats and some of their beats sound similar. Well, that's because that's them. That's their style. That's that producer. So if you listen to like DJ Premier, a lot of his beats are going to sound similar. If you listen to Hit Boy, a lot of his beats are going to sound similar. It doesn't matter who it is that you're listening to. A lot of beats are going to sound similar from that producer, because that producer made it, that mind made it. The same thing with you. If some of the beats sound similar, that's okay. It's perfectly fine. Just have confidence in yourself that the next beat that you make is going to be fire, and keep the process rolling. The 11th tip that I have for you guys today is, if you have beat block and you can't think of where you want to go next or what you want to do, a good thing to do is just watch some producer cookups on YouTube. So this didn't exist for a lot of producers, 15, 20 years ago. They couldn't just hop on YouTube and watch a producer cook up and then get some motivation, but you can do that now. So you can go find your favorite YouTube producer, watch a video of them cooking up, and then maybe make a similar beat, or make whatever it is whatever comes to mind. But you can get inspiration from a producer on YouTube. They can help you out dramatically. You can watch a tutorial, you can do all kinds of different stuff. but use that other person as motivation in order for you to get back into the lab, cook up, and make some fire. The 12th tip that I have for you guys today is one of my favorite tips, especially as of lately. If you have beat block, what I would recommend is maybe trying to make a different genre of music, because once you start getting off into making different genres of music, your mind starts to move differently. So you start making different melodies, you start using different chord progressions, you start making beats at different BPMs. You just get all kinds of different ideas in your head. For me, if you follow the channel, I've been making a lot of house beats lately. Part of that is just because I wanted to switch it up. I felt like, I don't want to say I was getting stale, but I just felt like I wanted to have more fun and I wanted to do something different. So I started making house beats. I absolutely love it. I make synthwave beats, I make R&B beats, trap beats, drill beats, boom bap beats, lo-fi beats. I make a ton of different genres of beats. And it just really does eliminate the beat block, because it's like I can make any kind of genre. So like, let's say I sit down and my goal is to make a boom bap beat, and after 5-10 minutes I'm not really feeling it. It just allows you to go to a different genre, and then boom, you can make a different genre of beats, and now you've got some music. You've completed the task. You don't have to say you have beat block, and you get to leave your session with some completed product. So definitely work on making different genres. I would even say start making different genres even if you don't have beat block, because it's just going to open up the possibilities of the kind of beats that you make. It's going to open up the possibilities of different, I don't want to say placements, but different opportunities. You might start liking a different genre, or you might start working with different artists, or you might have other people notice you that never noticed you before. You never know what you're gonna like until you try it. So definitely try different genres. The 13th tip that I have for you guys today is switch up how you make beats. So for me, I always start with chords. Every time I make a beat, I have to start with chords. Then I go with the melody. Then I go with a counter melody. If I'm gonna do vocal chops, then I'll put vocal chops in. After the vocal chops, I'll put my other counter melody in. So I'll put my third counter melody in. And then I'll go 808. Then I'll go kick. Then I'll go snare, then I go hi-hat, then I go percussion. So for me, that's how I make beats 95% of the time. Again, I don't get a lot of beat block, so I don't have to switch up the way that I make beats. But every once in a while, if it's not coming out as quick as I want to, pause, the melodies and the chords and all that stuff, then I might start off with the melody before the chords, or I might start off with the drum first. Or if I'm feeling really risque, I might even start off with an 808 first and then build a whole entire beat around the 808. But just changing up the way that you construct a beat, changing up the way that you build a beat is definitely going to give you a new perspective, and it's going to help you create a beat. So granted, I will say this, whenever I start with a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat first, those are beats I don't typically use, but it's a beat that I complete, and then I'm willing to go and make another beat after that because my juices is flowing again, pause, and it's allowing me, to continue to create. So the last tip that I have for you guys today is don't get too caught up with sound selection at the beginning. So if you can't find the exact piano that you want, that's okay. Go ahead and put down some chords, go ahead and put down a melody, and then go try to find the right piano. If you can't find the right guitar or the guitar that you're looking for, that's all right. Just put down a guitar melody over on top of those chords, and then find the guitar after that, and just keep that same mindset all the way down. You can't find the right snare, that's okay. Just put a snare in there for now so it doesn't stop and it doesn't halt your creativity, because you can always go back and change those sounds out later. I typically start all my beats with a piano. And then after that, I'll decide if I want to keep the piano or if I want to layer it, or if I want to take the piano out and use some pads or some brass or some strings or whatever it is, whatever sound it is that I want. Then I'll go in there and I'll swap it out. And then I'll do the same thing all the way down with the beat, until I find the right sounds. What that's going to do is it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of stress. It's going to save you a lot of heartache, because a lot of times if we don't find the right sound that we want right at the beginning, it's going to discourage us. And then we're going to make the excuse that we have beat block, when ultimately the excuse is we just didn't put down any chords. We just went through 25 different sounds. We didn't like any of the sounds and we called it done for the day. Well, that's not beat block. That's just not giving it the effort that you needed to in order to complete the beat. So basically, that's what I got for you guys today. Those are my 14 tips. Hopefully, I can help you guys out there. I can't stress enough, as I'm saying, beat block isn't really a thing. I mean, look, y'all, it really isn't. You know, I make beats every day. There was a point in time before I started this channel where I was making 3-4 beats a day. I've been making a beat a day basically for the last 5 years or so. Before that, I rapped all the time and I wrote a rap every day for years. I mean, I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks. And do I use every rap? No. Do I use every beat? No. Do I have some bad beats? Yeah. Do I have some bad raps? Yeah. But I have more good music than I have bad music, and that's just because I don't stop. So I've said this before. A lot of times what happens is you'll say that you have beat block today, and so you won't finish a beat. And tomorrow you'll sit down and you'll sit down for 5-10 minutes. You're like, oh, I got beat block. I can't make a beat. You get up and leave. So the next thing you know, you've done that for a week. You've done that for 2 weeks. Now you've wasted 2 weeks and you haven't made any music at all. So what I would recommend, like I said earlier, is just finish the beat. If you sit down and you put down some chords, now you have to put down a couple melodies. You have to put down some hi-hats, snares, all that stuff. But you need to finish the beat so you get into that routine. So make sure if you guys do like this content, though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button. Hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. Appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Some. Hit the key.